and welcome. You join me here today on the stunning Lake Como in Italy, and I've got the new Wave Pro board with me. This is brand new for 2024. I'm here to tell you, is it any good? What are its best features? And is it the board for you going forwards? Let's jump into it. Now, the Pro board is primarily for touring. Because of that, it's got a slimline design with that nose at the front, which is nice and pointy for cutting through waves. It's also 12'6" in length too, so it really gives you a full scope of the actual board itself. You get netting on the front, you get netting on the back, and obviously a lovely foam in between too. It only weighs about 7.8 kilos, so it's a pretty light board for this sort of caliber, and it comes in around about £400. When you buy the Pro board from Wave, you do obviously get a couple of inclusions with it too. You get a nice carbon and fiberglass combination paddle, which is absolutely fantastic on the water. You also get yourself a nice little white Pro pump. This is a lot better than their standard pumps. I've used their standard ones over the years, and I can vouch for this one. Although it looks like it's just got a bit of metal in and it's nice and white, it does actually act like a Pro pump too. You can get this board up in around about 5 minutes using that, and I don't think that's too bad out of the box. You also, of course, get a nice wheeled carry bag as well. This thing is pretty lightweight and it's pretty easy to use. It's probably my only criticism of the paddleboard really is actually the bag. The wheels on it just simply don't roll as well as they should. And the actual back setup itself kind of hurts after a bit too. So that would be my only criticism, would be the bag. But I do think at this price point, to even get all this included is pretty good value for money. The board does act, as I said, like a touring board. It's got 2 river fins, which means you can have the main fin disconnected and use this on rivers, which is absolutely awesome. And then it's also got the big fin on the back as well, which obviously helps with tracking on large bodies of water, like here at Como. One of the best things about the fin from Wave though, is the fact the actual clip design on the back is really, really easy. It's simply flick up and remove, which is absolutely awesome. A lot of new boards at the moment are coming with ridiculous fin setups, and I do think that Wave are slightly ahead with this fin design. Bluefin also has the same thing, although I have found theirs are a little bit stiff. This one, maybe it's had a little bit more use, but I do think it is pretty impressive actually. As we bring our attention towards the back of the board, one of the things you'll notice is the step just here. This is amazing when you're trying to get better purchase on the water, when you want to try and maneuver your board to a greater extent, and I'll show you that on the water as well. This is a really lovely step. It's actually nice and wide, it's nice and thick, it's also really comfy too if you do manage to stand on top of it. Behind that step, you've obviously got a little bit more netting. Netting on the back is something which I'm seeing in a few more boards, but you don't see it in a lot, and that having a 12-foot board means that you can have that netting front and back. So if you are touring, if you're going longer distances, that is an absolute advantage. Coming to the front of the board, it's a pretty similar story. We've obviously got that one black strap that comes across. This is super springy. You'd be able to trust that with the dry bags underneath there. We've also got that netting as well on the front again, so for longer expeditions, we have got that extra storage, which is just awesome. As we come right down to the nose, we've got a couple of other little bits. We've got a nice handle right on the front. I just think that's a really lovely addition for carrying your board, but also if you need rescuing on the water. And we've also got a little ring too, so just more mounts than a lot of boards I've seen out there. You can also, of course, have the kayak seat conversion too, so we've got the mounts for that kayak seat in the middle of the board, which some people really, really like. I never use a kayak seat on my paddleboard. If I'm going to go kayaking, I take a kayak out. However, there's a lot of people who use this as a multi-purpose sort of watercraft, and therefore that kayak seat conversion is a big plus to them. So if you like that, you can attach it to the Wave Pro, and I actually think if you buy this stock, it comes with that seat free of charge too, which within that price point is it's pretty hard to argue with. It would of course be incredibly rude to be here on Lake Como and not put the board on the water. It's funny, actually, as I've just hopped on the board is something which I've just noticed. There isn't actually any camera mounts on this board. Now that's not a big deal necessarily. However, to some people it is, and especially when you're looking at top tier models too, things like camera mounts are something you expect. You could obviously retrofit those to this board, and at the price point I suspect people probably would. However, even just hopping on the water today just to do this bit of filming, it's really annoying. I've got a lot of mounts so I can get POV shots, but if I wanted a POV shot from the board itself, I'd have to retrofit a mount, and yeah, I don't know, it is just something to consider that it doesn't come with any camera mounts, which for a premium board, I think that's a little bit odd, definitely. One of the things you've got to absolutely love is the stability of this board. It does an amazing job at cutting through waves, it does amazing jobs on long journeys, but it is just kind of unbelievably stable to stand on. It's a pretty wide board too, I think it's about 37 inches. Don't hold me on that, I'll pop that up whether that's correct or not. But it just feels really planted, really stable on the water. I know it's a flat day, I know it's a calm day, but a lot of boards don't. You sort of jump on these narrow pointy boards and they feel really wobbly. However, I'm pretty confident I can stand my camera swinging around in the air and give it a bit of commentary because of how stable this board actually is. The question really to be asked is, should you buy it? Now, from my perspective, it's a little tricky. I was given this board to review, therefore it hasn't cost me a penny. So it's a buyer's perspective to go, I absolutely love this thing, you should go and buy it too. However, we've got a paddleboard centre. I see a lot of these boards all the time. I see these pro boards, I see bluefin boards, I see a lot of aquaplanet boards as well up at the centre, these same 12'6" variations, and I haven't seen anything at this price point with this amount of accessories that comes with it that is this good. And therefore, I would recommend it, definitely. If you're thinking, I want to go out, I want to tour, I want to hit rivers, I want to hit the seas, I want a board that is going to grow and advance with me, however, I don't want to go spend £800 on a red board or a little bit more money on a blue board, whatever it might be. This really is the board for you. It's mega cool looking. You can get two different colours. You can get this really nice blue and orange that I've got, and you can also get a turquoise too. I think it's sort of a men's and ladies colour thing. However, I'm sure you could mix that around too. I just think it's a fantastic board with fantastic features, and yeah, at that price point, seems like a no-brainer. I will link it in my description where you'll be able to buy it from, and yeah, hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into the Wave Pro board and whether it's the board for you. I'll see you in the next video.